She's not just older. She's timelessly beautiful woman. They said love fades with time. But when I look at her, I realize time never dared to touch her beauty. It was one of those late Dubai evenings, the kind where the golden sun kissed the skyline and left behind whispers of fire in the clouds. I stood by the balcony watching the city glow like molten gold. And then she appeared, calm, graceful, her steps light but filled with stories. She wasn't like the women the world called beautiful. No diamonds, no filters, no perfect angles. Her beauty came from silence, from the way her eyes held both wisdom and wonder, from the way her laughter carried a melody that belonged to the desert wind. They call her older. I call her timeless. The first time I met her, I was a young poet chasing fame. My heart was loud, my words were reckless, and my soul restless. She spoke little that day, but when she did, her voice was soft like prayer. "You're searching for meaning," she said. "How did you know?" I asked. "Because I once searched too," she smiled, her eyes shimmering with memories. There was something sacred about her presence, as if she had known love, loss, and rebirth countless times, yet carried it all with peace. Every wrinkle on her face wasn't age. It was poetry carved by time. The world around us moved fast. Faster cars, louder nights, newer faces. But she walked slowly, intentionally, as if she owned every second she breathed. I used to wonder how she could look so serene in a world addicted to hurry. One evening I asked her, "Do you ever wish you were younger?" She laughed softly. "You think beauty fades with years?" I stayed quiet. She looked at me and said, "Child, beauty doesn't fade. It changes its shape. When you grow older, beauty stops living in your face and starts living in your soul." That night, her words stayed with me. They echoed every time I saw her helping someone, every time she prayed under the moonlight, every time she smiled without reason. There's something about women like her. They don't chase love, they become it. They don't fight time. They befriend it. I began to see her differently, not as an older woman, but as a masterpiece sculpted by patience and pain, grace and glory. The world sees years as numbers. I saw them as chapters, each one adding depth, strength, and elegance to her soul. And maybe that's what timeless beauty really is, not the perfection of youth, but the peace that comes when you've survived everything and still choose to love. She once told me, "The secret is not staying young, it's staying alive in your heart." And that's exactly what she was, alive in every way that mattered. So when people ask me why I admire her, I don't talk about her looks. I talk about how her silence feels like wisdom, how her smile feels like sunrise, how her presence feels like home. She's not just older. She's proof that time can polish a soul, instead of breaking it. She's not just beautiful, she's eternity. Days turned into weeks, and my world quietly began to orbit around her. I didn't mean for it to happen, but love, the real kind, never asks for permission. It simply grows in silence, like moonlight filling the night without a sound. She had this small garden behind her house, where roses and jasmine bloomed under her tender care. Every morning, she'd water them with the same gentleness she used to speak. "Plants are like people," she once told me. "They grow best when spoken to softly." I used to sit there pretending to read poetry, while secretly watching her move among the flowers. The sunlight loved her. It danced across her silver hair, turning it to threads of gold. In those moments, she didn't look older. She looked eternal. One day, I gathered the courage to ask what had been burning in my heart for weeks. Why do you live alone? She smiled as if she had expected that question. Because solitude has been my oldest friend, she said. And besides, peace doesn't always need company. Her words made me ache, not with sadness, but with admiration. There was strength in her stillness, beauty in her independence. Yet behind her calm eyes, I could feel the ghost of an old pain. That evening, as the sky turned the color of rose petals dipped in dusk, she told me her story. I was married once, she said quietly, a long time ago. He was a man of ambition, strong, proud, and endlessly busy. I loved him deeply, but his heart was always chasing the world. When he left, he didn't say goodbye. He just faded into distance. I felt my chest tighten. Did you ever see him again? No, she said, her gaze fixed on the horizon. But I forgave him. Because love, my dear, isn't about keeping someone. It's about wishing them peace, even when they choose a life without you. Her voice trembled just once, then steadied like the desert wind. And in that moment I realized what made her timeless, not her beauty, but her capacity to forgive. I wanted to tell her how much she meant to me, but the words felt too small. So instead, I reached for her hand, and fragile, warm, alive. She didn't pull away. You remind me of something I almost forgot, she said softly. What's that? That love doesn't always come to claim. Sometimes it comes to heal. That night I couldn't sleep. Her words replayed in my mind like a sacred song. I understood now. She wasn't just a woman I admired. She was the mirror that reflected everything I wanted to become. Calm, wise, free. The next morning I found her sitting under the old jasmine tree, reading one of my poems. I froze when I realized she had discovered the notebook I always carried. This one, she said, smiling, is about me, isn't it? My throat went dry. Maybe, I whispered. She closed the notebook gently. Then promise me one thing. Write not because you love me, but because I reminded you what love truly is. Her words sank into me like sunlight into water. She wasn't mine to keep. She was my teacher in disguise. Years passed, and the city changed its face. Taller towers, faster cars, brighter nights. But in all the noise of the world, one silence still lived inside me, her. I left Dubai for work, chasing success the way the younger version of me once chased dreams. But no matter where I went, London's rain, Paris's poetry, or New York's chaos, I carried her lessons like secret verses engraved in my heart. She had told me once, the beauty of time is not in what it takes away, but in what it teaches. I didn't understand it then, but I do now. One morning, after years abroad, I returned to Dubai. The city shimmered with the same golden warmth, but something inside me felt colder, emptier. I went back to the small street where her house stood, the one with the jasmine tree and the quiet gate. The garden was still there, but older, just like her roses blooming against time. I knocked softly, no answer. An elderly neighbor appeared. You're looking for her, aren't you? She said gently. Yes, I'm an old friend, I replied, my voice trembling. The woman nodded sadly. She passed away last winter, peacefully, in her sleep. She left behind a letter. She said someone might come one day, someone who wrote poems about her. My heart stopped. The neighbor handed me a faded white envelope. My hand shook as I unfolded it. Her handwriting was still the same, elegant, calm, eternal. My dear poet, if you're reading this, it means I've finally gone where time cannot reach me. Don't grieve, for I've lived my life twice, once in this world and once again through your words. Do you remember what I told you? That love doesn't always come to claim, it comes to heal. You were that healing for me, the echo of youth I had lost, the reminder that beauty still breathes in gentle hearts. Promise me this, don't stop writing, because words outlive faces, and love, my dear, outlives time. Yours timelessly. The paper blurred as tears fell on it. I sat by her jasmine tree, now wild and untamed, and I felt her presence in the scent of its flowers, in the softness of the air. She was gone, yet somehow she wasn't. In that moment, I understood what she had meant all along. She wasn't trying to teach me how to love her. She was teaching me how to love life, how to see beauty even in endings, and how to let time sculpt the soul instead of fearing it. That evening, I opened my old notebook and began to write again. The words flowed easily this time, as if she were guiding my hand from beyond the horizon. I wrote about her silver hair that shimmered like moonlight, about her laughter that could silence storms, about her heart that turned pain into poetry. She wasn't just older, she was infinite. And as the sun sank into the desert, I whispered, "You were right. Beauty doesn't fade, it transforms. Love doesn't die, it continues." From that day, every poem I wrote began the same way. For the timeless woman who taught me that eternity can live in a single smile. And though the